We are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the always lovely and talented Andrea Kay, the always incredible Urban Miaris, and we have our next guest with us today, Mr. Richard Hollis from how do I say that? Holonis? Holonis Incorporated. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much for having me, Barry.
Great. Tell us a little bit about what Holonis does.
Well, Holonis is trying to empower any individual or company to succeed online by having a comprehensive digital presence and basically simplify the complexity that exists today to succeed online. The internet is a very big place, and it's very fragmented with a lot of technology. And what we're trying to do at Holonis is take all the parts and create a whole system that simplifies the way you succeed online.
Mm-hmm. So, and I go back, I've seen so many different things on the internet and how things come about. It started out, I guess the first thing was probably pay-per-click, and then they go into SEO, and every time...
Say what?
Yeah. It's a whole different language, okay?
We'll talk English, okay, brother?
Yeah, or search engine, I'll call it search engine optimization.
Thank you. Okay. What was the first pay-per-click? What is that?
Pay-per-click, that's when you had to pay to get people to click on it.
Whenever pay-per-click. I think paper-click.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So, okay. No, this is internet. Paper has nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay. See, hence my confusion. Carry on.
So, anyway, tell me what, in the old days, you could get in and manipulate Google quite easily, and then Google caught up with it, and all the other search engines caught up with it. How do you do what you do today? How are you different from the old days, and how does it work?
Well, the old traditional way to market your business was print, radio, and TV. And so that was more of a passive way of advertising. We've moved into this digital economy where it's interactive. And that means that you have to actively participate to drive customers to your website online. And you do that by content creation. And, I'm reflecting on some of the comments you made about 1 year it's this, and the next year it's that. And that's the evolution of the Internet. Yeah. And it's going to continually evolve. And it's very difficult for a business owner to keep up with all this technology. And as this technology evolves, a lot of the economy is left out of participating, and it creates a digital divide. And so what we're trying to do at Holonis is create a platform where everyone can participate in the economy by simplifying all this complexity and evolving as the internet evolves. Right. So that's the whole purpose, is to really get rid of that digital divide and empower anyone with enterprise-level software, where a small business can be as large as a large enterprise business online.
Interesting.
Yeah. Give me some examples of some industries, or is there particular types of business that is best with what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and we're asked that a lot. So the way we look at this, and the way it actually is media is agnostic. So anything in regards to using today what we call podcasts instead of radio,
right?
Video on demand versus TV. These are all platforms that are agnostic. So whatever media that you want to create to connect with your audience, it's available to you. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the construction business or you're in the financial business. It's for all sectors and niches of the economy.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so is it best for somebody who's got like an e-commerce site where they're trying to sell product, or is it equally conducive to a service-related business like you talked about, construction or finance? And do you have any like specific examples of companies you've helped?
Yes, sure. So I think that question is really good, because it's really the first platform that melds both service industries and also people who are trying to sell products. So everything starts with content creation. Whether we realize it or not, every business today is a publisher, because every time you're posting something, you're publishing.
Even like on Facebook or Twitter?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we do here is we have a module that says publishing on it in your digital dashboard, and what drops down is a menu, and you get to produce articles articles, videos, blogs, photos, podcast. And what happens is we automate the search engine optimization for all those pieces of media, and we create a landing page for it. So now you're creating media and you are optimizing media, and the next step is distributing that media to the social media channels.
Right.
So social media now is a channel that you get to advertise and market your business to. And so then what happens is that starts a digital conversation.
Okay.
And that digital conversation starts to create more engagement through media. And that media creates more transparency, which should lead to more of a relationship that ends up into a transaction or a following or a connection.
Yeah, you know what I'd done some years ago. I think that if I remember correctly, this was before the big influx of social media. You know, it was there; it just wasn't as big as it is today. But I had a firm help me write and publish articles. I think I published about 300 or 400 articles on the internet, and I still get reports coming back from e-zines all the time as what little there's left of them. But is that still an effective method, or is that just part of the overall puzzle?
Well, once again, I really appreciate these questions because I would really like the audience to understand that the internet has many components to it. So one person is going to sell you, well, I'm going to do your website, so you have a webmaster. Another person is going to sell you on search engine optimization. Another person is going to sell you on social media. Or another person is going to sell you on their email system or their analytics or their shopping cart.
Right.
And what happens is all these pieces are fragmented and they don't talk to one another, and they don't drive the digital touch points, as we call them, which are analytics. So where this whole field on the internet is moving is into data-driven, consumer-driven engagement. And that engagement is going to allow personalized marketing, relationship building, and loyalty. And so you have to have technology to do that. You can't do that manually.
So if I can simplify a little bit, you have a software and a system to bring together all the individual tools to help maximize what people do. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, and that's where the term Holonis comes from. A holon takes all the parts and creates a whole, so it becomes a holon. And so Holonis is that place that connects everything.
I thought it was something that came off of your name, okay? So it's just by coincidence.
That's total coincidence.
So,
I love that.
How did you get into this business?
Well, I've been in business about over 3 decades now, and I started off in the biological life sciences and marketing and sales. I had the privilege of launching a company here in San Diego in the 80s that became extremely successful, a company called iMed Corporation. They ended up in the CareFusion, which was just purchased, I think, for $12 billion a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I represent the former CEO.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Dick Kramer started that company in the 70s. He started 2 companies, IVAC and iMed, and that's for volumetric infusion pumps. That's to deliver intravenous solutions. So I've been in the medical devices, and then I had the privilege of launching a company called Genentech in the Bay Area, the world's first and largest biotechnology company. So I got involved in the human genome in a very big way, and then I founded my own company and took it public, and I ran it for 17 years, studying basically diseases of aging, and then we hit that great recession in 2008 and 9.
Is that why you look way younger than you said your age
He
is?
doesn't look
What
like
is
he
your
sounds.
secret? Let's talk about this after the show, brother.
Hey, we'll have some coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch out what's in that coffee.
So your question's a really good one because I looked at the human genome, and when I started looking at the internet, I thought to myself, wow, this is code. Because DNA is software for life.
Right.
And so I'm looking at, wow, this is a digital genome, and it has all these parts, but how do they work together? So what I brought to the internet was basically a systems approach to how to address the internet. And once again, that's how I got involved in this with this holonic approach of connecting all the parts to make a whole. So that's how I'm here. And my son graduated from college from San Diego State.
Oh, wonderful. Congrats.
With a business degree. And
Yay, great
he was
business school.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's basically telling me who is a digital dinosaur.
Yeah.
Dad,
yeah, I resemble that remark.
Oh,
Yeah. I can't even get him on Facebook or Twitter for crying to pee.
So that's why you moved to San Diego and started here in San Diego?
Actually, I moved here in '97 because San Diego was a growing life sciences community at the time, and so I moved the company here, and it was here for 17 years, and I took it public here, and it was an incredible journey, and I want to take all that knowledge and basically move it into this digital genome and see if we can empower people to succeed in this new digital economy that we all exist in today.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any connection? It doesn't sound like there is, but is there any connection to what you do now back to biotechs today? Is there any direct correlation there?
Oh, wow. I'm so happy you asked that question. So in biotechnology, most of the research and development is what we call biomimicry. Biomimicry is where we're trying to understand how the body works and how it's coded, right? So on the internet, you have a lot of parts, and they're all over the place. But how do they work together as a system? So in biology, you have a biological system, and all the parts speak and connect to one another. So on the internet, I looked at it as a digital genome, and my big epiphany, which really got me excited and created this passion and love I have for the internet now, is that code is code.
Right.
And so in biotechnology, you have to kind of reverse engineer the physics and laws of nature. And on the silicone or digital side, you get to create your own rules and your own algorithms. So unlike nature, where there's biological pressures to assemble things, on the internet, you get to use your intelligence to create algorithms to assemble things. So I really love it, and that's just a great question. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you were starting to tell us about your son earlier.
Oh, yes. So he kept saying, Dad, you got to look at the internet. And I was trying to find a phone that even worked, and I was an old flip phone, and I'm more old school. And I grew up in an era, and I'm sure you can relate to this, where I was dictating things. I didn't even use a typewriter. I was dictating. Right. And so I thought to myself, well, this is a fascinating area. I should take a look at it. And I just got hooked on it, and the opportunity in '09 and '10 to actually found a company with my son was like a perfect situation, where he's graduating from college, and I was pivoting to a new economy, and so it just kind of worked out. And the interesting thing about it is I thought I was going to be teaching him a lot of things. So everyone in our company, basically 90% of our company, are in their 20s, and what I'm understanding is they're teaching me, which is really
how fun, though.
Kind of humbling, but it's fantastic, because this new millennial generation, they really embrace technology.
Yeah.
They're looking for what's next.
Right.
Where a lot of us in our generation, we're thinking to ourselves, oh no, another piece of technology, how am I going to figure that out?
Right.
Where this new generation, they love it. Right. So what has happened is my transformation now is I'm loving it too.
Oh, wonderful. How exciting. So what's next for Holonis?
Well, we did a soft beta launch just a few weeks ago in South by Southwest, the interactive conference and music festival in Austin, Texas.
Oh, I heard that's a big time down there.
It's
Very
really
fun.
big, yes. And so we did a soft launch there because it was an opportunity for thousands of people to come into the booth and get a lot of feedback. So we've gotten a lot of feedback trying to understand how users are interfacing and what bugs are still on the site. And so we have, in the last 6-7 weeks, spent a lot of our time listening and making corrections to the site to optimize it. So what's going to happen now within the next few weeks, we're going to move from a soft launch to a harder launch here in San Diego, and we'll try to get several hundred, if not several thousand businesses on the platform and turn it into a success here in San Diego, and then do a national launch sometime in the latter part of the year. So that's kind of our game plan moving forward, and we're really excited about it.
Wonderful.
Interesting. What do you need? What does your business need more than anything at the present time?
It needs an understanding by businesses that they have to adjust to a new economy one of the things I hear every day is I'm too busy just staying afloat, let alone having to create content and engage with consumers. And I certainly understand that because everyone's busy and trying to run their business. But unless you take a step back and have a digital strategy, in the next few years it's going to be more and more difficult as your competition starts embracing more technology and engaging and forming relationships with them. So the old traditional way, it's going to exist for a while. It's not going to totally disappear, but it's rapidly moving to the internet. So if business owners don't adjust to this new interactive digital economy that we're in, they're going to have a difficult time. So I really want to communicate that.
Right.
Well, we're gonna work on helping you on that. We are running short on time. Tell our listeners how they find out more about Holonis.
Yes, so we can be found at www.holonis, Holonis.
Holonis.com?
Yes.
Okay, so for our listeners, that would be www.holonis.com or holonis.com.
Fantastic.
Okay, great.
Yay.
I appreciate you being with us. I look forward to following up.
Barry, it's been my pleasure, and thank you very much for having me this morning.
Oh, wonderful.
This is great. Yeah.
Yep. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at am1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find us on Facebook. You can always email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.